they get ridiculed for pursuing what they love. But I don't think there was ever any question that I'd be an English major. I come from a family that is obsessed with books. Both my parents were English majors, both my grandmothers were English teachers. Throughout school, I went overboard on any project for my English classes. Think full costumes, musical numbers, iMovie documentaries. I was that girl. I've always been enamored with literature, and I fervently believe that storytelling is one of the most powerful ways to inspire empathy and understanding. I've never had anything but the utmost respect for the subject of literature. However, I am acutely aware that others don't necessarily agree with me. English, along with the other humanities subjects, is often seen as the easier alternative to more serious subjects. Which, look, I get how the humanities' bad reputation started. STEM subjects teach very concrete skills and have very clear career paths. I'm all for the expansion of STEM, particularly the increase of women and people of color in STEM, but the emphasis on STEM subjects shouldn't come at the expense of the humanities. The humanities have been devalued because they are seen as teaching only unmarketable skills. That sentiment, that the humanities are less valuable than STEM subjects, was made very clear to me this summer. This summer, I was invited to attend a Duke alumni event, where speakers were going to be talking about science and the service of society. I sat down next to one alumna who was cheerily sipping her seltzer water. I introduced myself and we began to talk. She told me she was a physics major at Duke, one of the only female STEM majors in her graduating class, which was sometime during the 1960s. She told me how she constantly faced opposition and blatant sexism while pursuing her degree. I told her how inspiring her story was, how I'm so grateful for her breaking the glass ceiling in her field. Our conversation was going well, until she asked me what my major was. Oh, I said, smiling that smile I used to use when trying to impress old people. I'm an English major, probably an art history and theater minor. My smile slowly became sheepish as I realized the woman's reaction was going to be less than positive. The woman's mouth became a straight line. She took a sip of her seltzer water before replying, well, luckily there are women like me to lift up underachieving women like you. Wow. Okay. I didn't reply. I was thinking about what the woman had said. I'm not insecure about being an English major. I love what I study. I didn't really care about that woman's approval. But the comment stuck with me. For one, because it reinforced this idea that the humanities are less valuable than the hard sciences, which I'd heard before. Plenty of Duke students have responded with a lukewarm, oh, cool, when I tell them what I'm studying. Meanwhile, male English majors are met with a, wow, you are so deep. I know some students immediately think I'm less intelligent than others or that I'm lazy because of my choice of major. But this woman was different. She didn't just undervalue me, she resented me. That interaction was a strange intersection of two experiences being a female college student. This woman, likely a second-wave feminist, had to fight to have her voice heard in the STEM subjects. She was probably expected to have some pink-collar job, while she wanted to be a scientist. In her mind, she had fought for women like me to follow in her footsteps and become a woman in STEM. She created a space for me, and I rebuked her. To her, I was regressive in my choice of major. I'm sorry you feel that way, but my dear alumna, I'm not changing my major. In the end, we both want the same thing, for women to be respected in their academic fields. But instead of you celebrating my choice to study the humanities, you saw it as an attack on the legacy you strive to create. But, despite what you think, my English degree, just as valuable as your physics degree. After all, without my English education, I wouldn't have been able to think deeply about your perspective on our interaction. And without my English education, I sure wouldn't have been able to write about it.